I'm Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran, and you're watching mirror.co.uk.
In the first part of our exclusive Duran Duran interview, frontman Simon Le Bon reveals how the glamorous but dangerous lifestyles of stars such as Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton inspired the band's video for new single Falling Down.
We were trying to find a theme for the song, for the video, and we wanted something simple. And we had phone calls with a number of different directors, and we had one guy going, and you have this girl, and she falls off the top of the rooftop, and she falls down towards the ground. You think she's going to die, and just before she hits the bottom, by a little bit of, if you will, movie magic, she stops and floats there. I'm going, I can't listen to this anymore. And John had said, I got a great idea. He'd seen some fashion shoots, and it had very, very pretty girls in an institution. And he said, look, just models in meltdown. You know, let's shoot it as though all these, let's show the damaged side of glamour. And it seemed very relevant to everything that's going on now. You know, it seemed relevant to Lindsay and to and Brittany and to Paris and to Amy and all these potential disaster cases. And without sort of pointing the finger or putting, which we don't want to do, there's a little bit of social comment in there. But it was also a great excuse for Duran Duran to have pretty girls in their video for the first time in 10 years.
What do you make of the likes of Amy Winehouse and Pete Doherty then?
I think, first of all, that, taken individually, Amy is an incredible singer and writes great songs. That's the number one thing for me. Number two, if she's going to have impact on the world in an artistic way, she's got to survive long enough to do it. That's where I'm worried, because I see someone who's seems to be in danger of not being around. You know, and the same with Pete. He's really talented. I mean, have you read the words he's written? I read his diaries. I love the way the guy writes. He's got a great sensibility, and people love him. I just want them to get it together so that they can be around long enough to have some kind of impact on the world.
Obviously, John battled his own addictions as well. Was it hard watching him go through that?
There were times. I mean, it went on for a long, long time. There's a song way, way, way back I think it's on Rio. It's a song called "Hold Back the Rain," which I wrote specifically for John, saying, "Hey, come on, man, don't go off in some personal trip. You know, we're a band. There's 5 of us. Stick with us because we can do something great together." You know, and the lyric says that. I put it under his door. You know, and I don't know if he got the message specifically, but and then we pulled him back, and he did his stuff, and and he's great on stage, and you tend to think, if he's great on stage, whatever he's doing off stage, it doesn't matter. We'll let him do that. I mean, it's very difficult to tell people what to do with their lives. You don't feel that you have the right to, and everything was going great, and then. It was Andy and Roger who kind of were the ones who got off the train in '85, not John. Roger from mental exhaustion, I think, and Andy because he just felt that it was all running away and we had no control. And so John and Nick and I carried on, and we weren't really. We've always been quite private. With ourselves and in our lives. So if John was getting extreme, we didn't really know about it. It was only when I think we'd been away and we went back to New York, and he'd been living in New York, and you could see something was going on. And that was in about '87. I mean, he still managed to carry for another 5 or 6 years before he ended up in rehab.
Does John ever comment on people like Amy Winehouse?
Oh, he has great sympathy for them. I think more, and obviously the sympathy he has comes from a much more personal level, you know, of having been there.
Do you think it's an inevitable side effect of fame?
No. I mean, it's an inevitable side effect of life in a world where there are substances which are available for abuse. It's not just people in our profession. It's lawyers and doctors or guys who sweep the roads. I mean, you know, there's a huge drug consumption in this country. I mean, the thing is, it's part of fun in some ways. You know, you go to clubs and it makes it happen, but then there is a dark side to it, and the line between it being fun and being dangerous is so fine. Because I'm not of the just say no mentality. I don't think that's how you deal with it. I just think that the way the government seems to be treating the substance abuse problem at the moment is to try and just suppress it and push it down. All they're doing is making it go further underground. I think there's got to be a more honest reckoning. You can't say to kids, this stuff is awful and you must never ever do it. They should say, actually, this is going to make you feel quite nice, but if you do it too much, it's going to kill you. You know, but they seem to think that's some kind of admission of failure.
Did you ever dabble it yourself?
Maybe.